let me tell you something you won't like. Drinking culture saves lives. I know that sounds insane, but if you've buried enough veterans, you stop looking at alcohol as the problem and start seeing the isolation behind it. Today's guest doesn't distill bourbon. They pick it. And every barrel they select becomes a lifeline. Not just a bottle. This guest makes community. In a world where veterans are 57% more likely to die by suicide, that matters more than you think. This is Mission Ready, and we're diving into why responsible drinking, shared purpose, and how you can change the narrative one bottle at a time. With that said, I'm excited to introduce Luis Martinez. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Marshall.
Can you just kind of give a little introduction to who you are?
Yes, Luis Martinez Jr., as Marshall mentioned. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, served 5 years as an O-261 geospatial intelligence analyst, grew up a military brat. My wife's, we met in the Marine Corps, so the military is very special to us. And I know Marshall, I'm fortunate enough to be a 2020 Tillman Scholar. That's how I got to meet Marshall. And I'm a proud graduate of Texas A&M, where I went to use my GI Bill.
We won't hold that against you being an Aggie. You can see he's got the ring on, all right? I mean, he's really gigging them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Luis, he is the founder and the executive director of the Whiskey Valor Foundation.
Yes, sir.
Which is really exciting because they are someone that Xterra Health supports in their mission.
Yes, yeah, we're very grateful for Xterra Health. They donate funds to us, allow us to continue to grow. And been open up doors with us in the veteran community to help expand our reach.
So let's dive into it, because I know our viewers and our listeners want to learn more about what you're doing at your foundation. So can you just start out, how did the Whiskey Valor Foundation start? What was the pain point that made you want to start it?
Yeah, so Whiskey Valor came about because I wasn't feeling fulfilled at my day job. Great job, pays well, great mission, but there's just something missing at the end of the day. And so I did some self-reflection of some work I did while at Texas A&M with a group called VetMap. And reviewing that work, I realized the reason I was feeling empty is that my job didn't align with my mission and my purpose statement. So after doing some self-reflection, I realized I wanted to start a nonprofit, and doing some research, I learned there's over 45,000 veterans serving organizations out there. And what was something we can do that differentiate from the others? And that's when I decided to bring my passion for whiskey and bourbon involved. And
why bourbon? I mean, why not just start a nonprofit?
So you got to do it different. As I mentioned, there's 45,000, and I wanted to show, and at first it started off a little selfishly. I wanted to be able to drink bourbon with my vet buddies and be able to donate some money to some causes. But as I started learning about some of my personal friends' struggle with alcohol, I realized I knew there was a problem in the veteran community, but I didn't realize how close to home it hit for me. And that's where it evolved to the responsible drinking and mental health awareness.
I mean, was there a moment in the foundation's, inception, or where it's at now, where you started realizing, wow, this is actually impacting lives?
Yes. I've had several folks that I've met through some of our events. I have one who's told me, hey, because of these events you put on, it gets me to come out of my shell and talk to other people, other vets, where this veteran was just kind of recluse and staying at home, playing video games online. It's gotten him to come out. And just recently I had a veteran friend of mine who shared he had some struggles with alcohol. And as I was explaining our plans as we grow, he was super excited to hear, because he said if these plans were in motion, it would have prevented him from making a bad decision.
Wow. That is real world impact that you're showing, right?
Yes.
So can you explain how you are acquiring the bourbon? And, what is the process? Explain that.
Yeah, so we do single barrel picks. We partner with distilleries.
And describe what a single barrel pick is, so for the people that may not know.
Yeah, for sure. I apologize. I'm so used to hanging out with whiskey folks, so they understand what that is. But a single barrel, we go to a distillery. They give us a tour. We talk, and then they bring out barrels. And we've had as few as 3 to as many as 10. And we get to taste through them. We get to talk, and typically leads to other discussions other than bourbon. We're building some community as we're doing that. But the group comes to a consensus. We like barrel number 3. And so the distillery will take barrel number 3, bottle it, barrel it, and then now that's Whiskey Valor's single barrel pick for whatever respective cause we decided to partner with for that one.
And do you have a favorite release? I mean, this is like asking what's your favorite kid?
Yeah.
And is there a story behind it, like a soldier or someone that it represents to you?
They've all been special. I would say one of my favorite ones was Blue Bolt Spirits. It's owned by an active duty Master Sergeant, Will Malley, and Will's been a great supporter of Whiskey Valor since our inception. He's our sponsor for our Marine Corps Marathon team. But Will, every time we do something Marine Corps related, he steps up to the cause and, hey, I'll take care of you guys. And those picks that we did in Houston were extra special because I got to bring different phases of my life into one room. My friends who are vets at Texas A&M, some of my actual Marine Corps buddies flew in for that pick as well. And then those I've made friends with through Whiskey Valor. So it was this one intersection of different phases of my life came together to one, and we got to drink bourbon. They made fun of me because they all knew me from different phases of life, but it was a great time and something I'll never forget.
And I mean, we look over here, we've got, 4 different barrel pick small batch bourbons, right?
Yeah, single barrel.
Single barrel, sorry. Single barrel, for my connoisseurs out there. Is, what does one of these barrels represent to a veteran that's struggling?
Oh, man. So let's say Ironclad. That was one of our first one we did, and that money came to benefit us towards our programming. That brought 15 veterans together, active duty reservists, enlisted officer, men, women, and we even had a couple spouses there as well, and just brought us all together, and we were able to drink some good whiskey and just share community. And all those different titles, ranks, accolades went out the window, and, we're hanging out and just having a great time. Garrison Brothers was very important, special as well. That Vet Map was a program I went through that allowed me to figure out, Whiskey Valor is what you need to do. Mm-hmm. So we did our first pick to support another organization was the Garrison Brothers. It's based out of Texas, so we chose a Texas bourbon because Texans love Texas. So that was special. I already talked about Will in the that was for the NCO sword, and then our most recent one is Found North, which is a Canadian whiskey blend that we recently released with a group called Barrel Aged Whiskey Society, who appreciate what we're doing and helped us push some bottles so we can raise additional funds.
Awesome. Well, people are probably wondering, how can I get involved? And what can I do? How can I get involved if I don't drink?
Yeah, so you don't have to be a drinker to get involved with Whiskey Valor. We have non-alcoholic events. Monthly, we have a coffee with Whiskey Valor at our local Black Rifle Coffee Company. One of the things we are developing that is as recent as of 2 weeks is some non-alcoholic partnerships. So as we continue to have tasting events, we'll have non-alcoholic options for those who want to be part of it, but don't necessarily want to drink the alcohol. For whatever the reason is, that's fine. We just want to give them something, an alternative, so they're not feeling left out. But follow us on social media at Whiskey Valor. Instagram's where we place a lot of our stuff. whiskeyvalor.org is our website. And spread the message. Awareness is huge for us. And then if you see a bottle out there, if you drink, please purchase one. All the proceeds go back to serving veterans and their families.
And if you want to learn more, visit, what is it? What's the website?
whiskeyvalor.org.
whiskeyvalor.org. Follow this link and you can learn more about their mission and how you can help. Now, you say responsible drinking is the new warrior ethos. Can you expand on what that means?
Yes, we've gotten some kickback from folks who say alcohol's, we're a problem, we're bringing alcohol to veterans. I like to see it as we're meeting veterans and service members where they're at. We know they're going to drink, but let's reach out to them. Let's talk to them about doing it responsibly. If we start saying, hey, we're teetotalers, don't drink, drinking is bad, we're going to push them away. Because I remember when I would get those briefs in the Marine Corps, they start explaining something to me, death by PowerPoint, kind of turn off in my head and just zone out. But let's meet them where they're at. Let's give them opportunities and resources so that way we take those bad decisions out of the equation and we're doing it responsibly.
Yeah, it's interesting because I get a lot of people asking, oh, you're mixing alcohol with veteran, issues. But it's interesting because, whiskey, bourbon, alcohol, it is really interwoven into American history, culture, even more so in military culture. And to try to eliminate it and say, no veteran can have it, it's unrealistic.
Oh, I agree. We'll lose half the base just saying don't drink alcohol.
Yeah, so we know that it's going to happen, right? So your foundation, how are you balancing accountability and celebration? How do you balance that?
So we're working with professionals such as Marshall here and other folks that we have in our circles to make sure we're bringing the right information to the forefront of veterans. And we're going to talk about how blood alcohol content is affected through per each drink. And what I push, at least with, when I was a young Marine, it was all about how much I could drink as quickly as I could drink. Now, when I drink whiskey, it's all about savoring what's in the bottle and having a great conversation. And just that slight change in mindset has led me to drinking less because I want to enjoy the moment I'm in versus drinking to forget about what I'm experiencing.
So I know, talking about accountability here, right? One of the initiatives you're trying to do or stand up, and maybe you already have, is ride sharing. Is that right?
Yes. So we understand that, when you drink, you don't have all your faculties there. You make some bad decisions sometimes. And we want to provide resources to eliminate the opportunity to make a bad decision. So one of the things we're launching on August 9th is the fundraising for our ride share initiative, where Whiskey Valor will pay for a veteran, active duty, reservist service members ride share home. And all we're going to do the next day is ask if you're okay, invite you to an event, and we're just going to check in on you. We're going to track that data point that you use our services. And we're not going to report to your command, your job, no one like that. But that's just for our resources. So if we see Marshall's using this regularly, let's have a conversation with Marshall and discuss his planning before he goes out. Because it's meant to be, hey, things didn't go according to plan. I have this as a backup. But let's say during that conversation, we realize it's not a planning issue. Marshall, you're struggling with something. We're going to lean into our resources to get you the help you need so you're no longer turning to alcohol as a crutch.
Man, that's brilliant, right? Because you're not just saying we are supporting safe driving, responsible drinking and driving. You're actually saying, yeah, we recognize it can be an issue. Here's the solution we have, right? So amazing. Now, one thing I did forget to talk about earlier, I know we're talking about the single barrel picks and everything. We brought some bourbons here today. If a viewer goes on and decides, I want to buy one of these bottles, can you give an example of what they would get with that?
Yeah, so whenever we do a single barrel pick, we go to the distillery, we do an awesome pick. This one is from Blue Bolt for our NTO Sword Initiative. If you go to our link tree here, you can order it through one of our online retailers. But what's special about our barrel picks, we always do a challenge coin to commemorate the single barrel. So since this one's for the NTO Sword, it has a skeleton with his Kevlar and his rifle and says backbone to the core. So the idea is, I don't want you holding this, saving this for forever. Open it up, have a special drink with one of your someone you served with a family member. But the challenge coin is always going to be there forever, and now you can have that to commemorate the mission you were supporting with Whiskey Valor.
And I will say, I've seen all the challenge coins, and they are badass. I mean, a lot of attention and detail have gone into all of these. So kudos to you and the team doing that.
Yes, just another plug, Sven Smash Designs. He does all of our coins. He's an active duty Marine, super great to work with. And every time I send him an idea, I just mind blown by what he sends back. And the coins have definitely, they add an additional cost to the bottle, but you have something that lasts forever. And I've had people who don't even drink whiskey, but buy it because they want the coin. And the only way to get the coin, unfortunately, you have to buy the bottle. It's a combo.
Yeah, it comes together. Yeah. Now, I know you guys do something with responsible drinking pledge. Can you, what is that? When you say responsible drinking pledge, what does that mean for someone that's participating in your events?
Yes, so responsible drinking pledge is essentially our social contract. When we're hanging out with veterans, service members, their families, we want to establish these rules that if you're going to come to our events, there's expectations and standards. Anything that you did in the military, there's always some kind of standard you had to meet, minimum standard. Think of it as our minimum standard to participate in an alcohol-related event with Whiskey Valor. One, it puts us all on the same playing field in terms of what we're expecting of our attendees and the staff, but also it gives us that thing to hold you accountable. Like, hey, Marshall, you're kind of slipping up. You signed here saying you wouldn't drink and drive. Let's talk about this. And if you're struggling, let's get you some help, because we're not going to, just because you break the contract, we're not going to say, hey, don't ever show up. We're going to start getting you the resources you need, so that way you're no longer turning to alcohol or these bad ideas.
And that's my follow-on question is, how do you have a screening tool in place for identifying, risky drinking behaviors, high-risk veterans that may not benefit from, the alcohol? And do you have resources or avenues to direct them when they have those problems?
Yeah, so we have folks on our team, and then partnerships we're establishing with other veteran service organizations that we can reach out to if it's beyond our means in terms of the specialty of the care they need. But most of the stuff, all of us, we've been enough briefs from our time in service that we know the signs, but it's just giving people the safe space to act on it and say, hey, Marshall is slipping a little bit. I feel uncomfortable talking to him, but maybe Luis will go talk to him. I'll happily have that conversation with them because I'd rather have a conversation with you today that keeps you from making a bad decision tomorrow. And we're just bringing people together, doing it responsibly. And if someone is slipping up, we're going to help them get back on track.
Awesome. And, because what's interesting, I'm in recovery. I don't drink. I used to be a professional drinker, but I retired early, right? So, but I still support the mission, and I still support what you're doing. How can other people who don't drink, right? Because there are plenty of veterans out there that do not drink, other people that do not drink. Is there anything that your foundation is doing to help get in, these people that don't drink, who are sober, maybe just don't like drinking at all? How can they get involved?
Yes, we have several folks who show up to our events who don't drink. They offer to be designated drivers. They just come for the community. Whatever your reason for not drinking, we accept you. Whether it's you're struggling with alcohol or just don't like the taste of whiskey, that's okay with us. But we have several events where there's no non-alcoholic options. But as we develop more events, you just don't drink, right? We're okay with you attending, come build community. And we're also partnering with some non-alcoholic brands so we can bring those alternatives. So if you want something in your hand so you don't feel left out, we'll have something for you.
Yeah, and that's always been, in back of my mind and other people's mind, it's just feeling like you're participating and not being judged. And there's a big boom in the non-alcoholic beverage industry. So I'm excited that you guys, are embracing that culture change and bringing it to the foundation.
Yeah, ultimately, we're here for community. Whiskey is just kind of thing that, reels people in. But if a non-alcoholic drink's going to bring another veteran in, that's an easy day. We'll bring those in. And we have several partners that we're finalizing some work with that I think will have some great options available to those who don't drink.
Well, I mean, you can't just tease us like that. Are you able to share who some of these people are, collaboration partners, or is that, we got to sign an NDA?
Yeah. So for the NA space, I'm going to hold off until things get a little more finalized. But some of our veteran serving organization partners coming up, we have next month, I'll be doing a pick with the Travis Manion Foundation out of Sagamore Spirits in Baltimore, Maryland. Which will be released to coincide with the Army-Navy game, which happens to take place in Baltimore, Maryland this year. So I'm a Spartan. I do a lot of volunteer work with Travis Manion Foundation, and I'm part of their Spartan Leadership Program. So it's a special bottle where I can bring my personal life in with my professional life together to raise funds for a cause I truly believe in.
Wow. So beyond Travis Manion, let's look into the future. I mean, I know you talk about collaborations, partnerships, but I'm interested, what's going on in 2026 and beyond for your foundation? You have, big plans moving forward?
Yes. So I'd like to tell folks 2026 is going to be our year of impact. We've started doing a lot of growth this year in 2025, building partnerships and raising money. One of our big things that I want to do, or we will do in 2026, is a retreat. So we're finalizing with a partner where it's going to be and what it's going to look like. But our goal is to take out a group of veterans and military-affiliated folks, take them away, do some mental health awareness, get you to do some self-reflection, grow as an individual. And on the tail end, after we do all that, we're going to have some fun with some whiskey, do some barrel picks or something like that. But just show that we're here to take care of you mentally, but also we can include the alcohol at the end once we take care of that side of it. And then some partnerships. I have several. We've been talking with the Pat Tillman Foundation, which is how Marshall and I got brought together. So we're looking to do one for them next year. We have the Man's Legacy Foundation that is from a 2025 Tillman Scholar I met in honor of his brother's service as a MARSOC operator. Let's see what else we have. There's so many. I'm just slipping in my head right now.
And that's okay, I mean, the bottom line is you've got plans, right?
Yes, we have
expansion
of like 10 folks coming for next year, 10 different organizations that all do great work. 107 Foundation. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay. Great organization.
Yes, great organization. They help veterans, become aware of getting screened for cancer. That hits home personally for my family. My father, battled prostate cancer. So it's great whenever I can do something that helps vets, but also helps, at home as well. So that's a very special pick to me. I'm looking forward to next year. But we will start sharing that stuff online so people are aware of what's coming. But there's some very special plans for 2026.
Awesome. Now, I want to really drive home the point of where the money's going that you raise, right? So as a nonprofit, every dollar you earn or is donated or granted to you has to go back to the people you serve, the veterans, right? Mm-hmm. And it's impact work. That's how you measure success. It's the impact you do. So if you've got a prospective donor out there, someone that's watching, is thinking about donating, they're going to ask the question, okay, I'm giving my money. Where does that money go? What you say you're helping veterans, but what are you doing?
Yes. So big thing where a lot of the funds will go to next year is our retreat. But we're also trying to put on local events. One thing we're working on, we won't share with who yet, but a local youth event. So there's going to be obviously no bourbon or whiskey involved because it's dealing with kids, but we're going to bring military affiliated youth together for a day out of, working out. They get a book, they get read to, they just have a great time. So we want to put the money towards things that are impacting military families. And the reason our mission is kind of vague, supporting veterans and their families, that's done on purpose, is so that way as the evolving needs of veterans and their families continue to evolve, we can adjust where the money is going to serve the problem that's at hand, not something that's no longer an impact because it's last year's problem.
And you will release every year, all the impact and the
Yes.
financial. So
We will,
see
yeah.
that.
And then feel free, email me, luis@whiskeyvalor.org. That is my personal email.
Wow, Mr. giving it out.
Email me if you have questions. At the end of the day, the donors are what keep us going. So if you have a question or an idea, send it our way. We don't know everything. We're trying to, grow and evolve as needs do. And we think we're doing the right thing, but sometimes, you think you're headed in the right direction, but it's not necessarily impacting those who need it the most. So let us know. And if you have an idea, pitch it our way. And we want to be able to do a single barrel to support that cause.
Awesome. I mean, now a lot of our viewers who are watching this, they tune in to learn things about, disability claims, how to maximize their ratings, common pitfalls, myths. So they're probably watching and wondering, how is Xterra Health and Whiskey Valor Foundation collaborating together in order to support veterans? Can you answer that?
Whew, all right, throwing some hard ones at me. So Xterra Health, they've been there since day one of us launching Whiskey Valor and helping us raise funds. I know personally, I've been learning through Xterra's mission. I've been able to share that with fellow veterans, some of those I've served with. And I've had friends use Xterra services and have now getting their ratings increased. So a lot of this is just lack of awareness. There's so many different claims, support companies out there, so many nonprofits, but getting that awareness of what Xterra is doing, what Whiskey Valor is doing, that might be the difference in someone getting help that they need or just kind of being taken advantage of, frankly, by a company who just wants their money.
Yeah. When we looked at who we wanted to partner with, the one thing that stood out, with you and the Whiskey Valor Foundation is we want partners that are mission aligned with us, right? With our values, with our moral compass. And at the core of what you're doing at your foundation is the core of our mission, service beyond self. And who you putting first? The veterans, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all about veteran support. How can we help the most amount of people, right?
Yes.
And so that is why we support you and you support us. Mm-hmm. And because in the end, it's about the most important person in the room, the veteran.
Just a shameless plug for Xterra. My wife, she's a vet as well. She went through your services. She had nothing but glowing things to say. And I was against vets paying for getting help for their claims. I did it all on my own. But after asking some hard questions to Marshall, him answering them, I realized he's doing it for the right reasons and he's there to help the vets. I even had one of my Marine Corps buddies go through you guys' stuff and he had no idea my relation with Xterra other than I suggested it, and he had nothing but glowing things to say. And so you guys are truly sticking by your core values and taking care of the veterans at the end of the day.
It's because we do what we promise, right? Yes. We don't want cost to be a barrier to these services. That's why we offer some of the cheapest, if not the cheapest prices to do this, right? And we'll do it on a sliding scale. So if you can't afford it, we don't turn you away, right? We make sure you can get the help. Yes, and, we have a very high success rate because of that too. I kind of want to share an anecdotal story, right? Why I even created Xterra Health is a lot to do with what Whiskey Valor does, right? It was around alcohol use disorder, alcohol abuse. I was running operating an outpatient addiction treatment center, and I was working with veterans who had alcohol use issues, and they were not service connected for it. They were not getting the benefits for it. They were not getting paid for the services they needed. So I helped them, and I created these nexus letters for them, the independent medical opinions, and I got them service connected. And so out of that grew, through my education, the greater need for medical evidence in the disability process. But it all grew because people struggling with alcohol abuse, and I know we're talking about, advocating for responsible drinking, but the reality is we're going to find veterans that need help, right? We're going to identify them and we're going to get them the resources. And one of the resources that you're offering at the Whiskey Valor Foundation is the ability to get them service connected for the problems they're dealing with, so they can get the medical coverage.
Yes, and that's where we have Xterra come in. You guys are the experts there. We're bringing folks in together to have whiskey or not drink any if they don't drink. But it's that conversation and being aware that this is connected to your service. There's so much I've learned from you just in our conversations about Xterra and the work you're doing, and just talking to other veterans that they didn't know X was can be attributed to their service, but sharing that information, now they can go get the benefits they rightfully earned through their service.
Now, is there anything else that maybe I didn't ask or bring up that you think is important for the viewers to know about with the Whiskey Valor Foundation?
Yeah, I'd like to share one story. I like to tell people we're more than whiskey. Yes, whiskey brings people in together, but one of my favorite stories so far in our short time being in existence, August 9th, 2025 will be our 1-year anniversary. We had a Coffee with Whiskey Valor event, so no alcohol. We're all just drinking coffee, a bunch of vets. And a veteran, Matt Howard, shared his fight with cancer and how it's important to get tested. So we had a active duty Coast Guard officer there who said he had been putting off a test because he thought it was just another military thing that they're trying to force him to do. But hearing Matt's story gave him the courage and the understanding that why it's important to get tested and screened for cancer. So he went and got screened. Fortunately, there was no, he tested negative. Negative is good, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm saying that. Tested negative, so there's nothing to be worried about. But having that conversation, some vets together, gave him the courage and the awareness of why this is an important test he needs to get done. And at the end of the day, the whiskey is just bringing people together. It's a community we're building and sharing resources and awareness of problems that affect veterans.
Wow, that's an amazing, impactful story. How you can actually influence and change lives through screening. And that's because of the foundation you're doing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Luis. Just to end it here, we say this every week. You are not broken. You are battle tested. If you're still in the fight or you've been self-medicating just to survive the silence, there's help. There's healing and there's hope. And sometimes it starts with just showing up to the table. To learn more about what drives us to do what we do, why we fight so damn hard for veterans like you, click this link right here to watch our core episode, Who We Are and Why We Fight. Until next time, stay mission ready.